I think that the sum total of the arts that I work with can be put into the realm of heritage. And for me, heritage is origin. It is the journey of time that took place before me, including my blood lineage and then the human experience on this planet. So to speak from the point of heritage, food is important because food provides context. It provides context from uh, different sections of our day, from every moment we eat. It is the cultural marker between time in our days. How it really connects the diaspora is African people on this continent, those of us who descend from Africa, perhaps came through the Ma'afa, which we know as the Middle Passage, and then the many years of enslavement um, in this hemisphere. Those of us who descend from those ancestors who experienced that directly, we are still experiencing a severance from our heritage and from our land. So what food does um, in this continent is it takes the some amount of time that our ancestors have contributed to building a cuisine, to building a food heritage on this land and in this hemisphere. And it re-informs us in our present day. It re-encourages us in our present day, and it continues the lineage that came out of Africa. Even though we do not have different um, indigenous spices and herbs and foods that we're familiar with in Africa. We have the equivalent, the American equivalent, the indigenous American equivalents like chilies, and we have different spices and spice berries, things that fill that place and really have a new heritage here while continuing the old. Well, I think that segue into this question, what I previously said
Yes.
is perfect because I think it will allow me to continue to say that food knowledge and food ways is not in the food alone. It is in the human being. It is in the
Mm,
soul, it's in the mind, it's in the heart and the spirit, it's in our touch, our sense memory. Therefore, when you have fortitude in that way of being, you can address, or I'll say I can address whichever food is in front of me, as long as I have that cultural, that ancestral wisdom of being able to recognize it through sense and through sense memory. Um, how this is important in regards to our present day crisis. Um, it will be the thing that saves us. I know that for a fact. It's something that I believe and something that has proven to me to save lives. Foodways have saved my life in many ways. In response to the climate crisis, I can think of parts of the world where fresh water is not available. There is a whole ancestral science behind extracting fresh water from plants and using plants to what's the word, filter water that has been contaminated. And this knowledge, this botanical knowledge that is most present in our foodways, is the thing that helps people to respond to the ongoing climate crisis. And really, the solution for these climate crises are the foodways, is more intention and more care around our ethnobotanical relationships, our relationships to land. And that's one of the solutions that was proven to me at Soul Fire Farm, where I visited this summer. There was a time in the Caribbean where um, I experienced a couple of parasites in my intestines, and it was not a very good experience. I was bedridden for 5 days, constipated for 5 days, and it was the worst nightmares I ever had in my life. It was a very difficult time for me, physically speaking, and mentally and spiritually speaking as well. The thing that came to me about the week after and during was tea and papaya seeds. So I had somehow advised myself to bring dandelion tea for a for another um, matter I wanted to address about myself, but the dandelion tea ended up being the thing to help facilitate healing throughout the having the parasites. Papaya seeds are known and ancestrally known to rid people of parasites and to help the intestines move in the way that they're supposed to. So papaya seeds and papaya and malanga roots and different fruits and tuber starches, they were the things to help me bounce back and to help me heal from these parasites. So they ridded my body of this. And it was the people in this part of the Caribbean that helped me gain that knowledge. They gave this to me in a place where medicine, Western medicine, was unavailable to
Mm.
us. So I wrote a short, I guess, dramaturg about that some
Mhm.
years ago. That question made me think of that. So I'll read a little piece of this.
Mhm.
It says, on one particular note, the golden honey-hued rays of the sun shined a bit brighter, with a heavier heat. This was due to the plants and people living in this land. Every energy that graced this region were ambassadors of two major elements, the sun and the water. This was a place of sun warriors and plants, where in light of the heat, the people maintained a cool aesthetic in the air vents of the ocean breeze, and by letting the water that coursed through themselves and the veins of the land choreograph their bold, amorous dancers. The circular repetition of the sun and the moonrise empowered the people's lifestyle, absorbing the sun's energy during a day's work and singing moonlight serenades accompanied by cacao teas and lunar biscuits in the coolness of the night. The peoples, animals, and plant life contributed to a kind of swing that proclaimed, I sing the blues. It's not a blues fix, it's a revolutionary attitude towards wellness. That's what I imagine. I'll start with this. Every when I create a dish or when I cook, I often go into meditation, um,
Mhm.
to relive in the moment with something as fresh as possible, and really listening to my senses and the senses of what's before me, to organize things. I think the idea of that process is really about embodiment. So within myself and then within this social context that I'm physically a part of, and then of course the spiritual component of just being part of planet Earth, Mother Earth, and having context around that. And in direct response to your question, the answer is home. I hope to create
Mm.
a place of home with the food that I create. The taste of home is sweet potatoes and it is collard greens and it's also it's also ají verde, which is a spicy green sauce. Um, it's the taste of home is a combination of flavors that are, what's the word, ingenious, but also they have their own character each. But when you have them together, we enjoy most the combination of this variety of flavors.